Okay, like the title says, diet YouTuber Stephanie Buttermore returns to YouTube and gets honest after therapy about her all-in diet fail. She's been gone for 4 months and just returned today. Let's take a look at her video.
I'm here to explain where I've been the past 4 months and just talk about what's going on. So in a previous video, I talked to you guys about my struggles with anxiety and my low appetite. But for a few months last year, it ended up becoming a bigger issue than I was comfortable sharing.
If you don't know who she is, she's got like a bazillion followers, and she used to be like shredded, but she was too lean and she didn't feel healthy and she was starving all the time. So she went all in and ate 5,000 calories a day from eating 1,500 a day.
So it seems this all-in diet is eating more food and eating what you want, and that raises your metabolism. So you therefore can be thin, because previously eating a small amount of food lowers your metabolism. This sounds like an endless cycle to me. You don't want to play this game.
After I opened up about it in that video, unfortunately, it ended up getting a lot worse, and I started losing a lot of weight from simply exploiting my lack of hunger. And what I mean by that is that I took advantage of my low appetite as I lost more and more weight, and I blindly ignored it.
Why did she have such a low appetite? Must have been something going on that was bad. It seems that she's blaming anxiety. But what was the anxiety for? I don't know about that.
I was also under an illusion that I was doing super well.
We can be sure her audience was under the illusion. Maybe all the views and money coming in helped give her the illusion.
At first, I didn't notice I was losing so much weight, but I ended up losing more than beyond what I believe my set weight is and didn't do anything to stop it. I would be lying if I said that the positive comments about my body didn't start getting to my head. And I'm ashamed how the positive reinforcement affected me. Comments like, "You look amazing, you proved all the haters wrong."
So I guess what she's doing here in this video is helpful to people. But will it really help when you mix it in with all the other stuff they receive? So it looks like she's saying she was under-eating too much. And she's saying, yeah, you should not eat too little. That's one of my main messages in my channel. And just like Cassie Ho years back, she was struggling with body fat.
I was frightened of bananas.
We've been hearing freely in vegan games calling her a liar, and also that she's scamming people. Is the proof straight from her?
During that time, I had close to 1,000 calories every single day for those 8 weeks. And I was cloudy in my head. I could barely think. I was scared to eat apples. Like, I was frightened of bananas, and I just didn't want to touch a grape because I thought that it would make me fat. It actually spiraled me into a type of an eating disorder.
Freely was right, and I doubted it.
You're just finding this out. All right, back to today and Stephanie Buttermore.
I started losing a lot of weight from simply exploiting my lack of hunger. And what I mean by that is that I took advantage of my low appetite as I lost more and more weight, and I blindly ignored it. I knew that it wouldn't last. I recognized quickly that the first thing I needed to do was fix my anxiety. So I signed up for a service that helps you find a therapist because I wanted to give therapy a try.
I've had a lot of anxiety in my life. One of the worst times was back in those days when I was eating the most. There's no link between the two. It just shows it didn't interfere with my diet. I've been trying to figure her out and figure this video out. Maybe you're confused too. What's with the anxiety? And why would she have anxiety, man? That's just throwing more confusion into this story about weight loss. I have some experience in this area because I once had extreme hunger and I followed it. I ate as much as I wanted to satisfy the hunger. I wasn't concerned about getting fat because I've never been fat. Which brings me to, why did I have the extreme hunger to begin with? I would say it's because I started eating a much healthier diet with a lot of nutrients, and the body really wanted those nutrients because I previously ate a typical bad American diet. But now on this healthy diet with a lot of fruits and vegetables, potatoes, yams, beans, grains, and even though I was eating somewhere around 3,000 calories a day, it was all healthy food, and it's because the body wanted that food and the nutrients. The body took the nutrients and just discarded any excess calories. It didn't need to store the fat because the body wasn't in fat storage mode, which it goes into if it sees that there's a lack of nutrients coming in. That's the reality of how the body works that almost no diet coach talks about or uses or probably doesn't even know. It is not normal for humans to struggle with their appetites or their bodies. Humans are the only animals that live unnaturally. No animals struggle with this. Only humans. And humans are the only ones that aren't eating naturally. Now apparently, this all-in diet means you can eat as many calories as you want, which I sort of agree with in principle. But I'm hearing that she was eating 5,000 calories on a daily basis. I find that hard to believe. That's just too much. That's just more than you would eat normally, right? Like you'd be too full, right? I would. So if she was eating 5,000 calories a day, she must have been eating in a certain way to allow for that, which means she had to be eating probably some refined food and probably a lot of fat and not much fruits and vegetables. So it seemed like many years ago, maybe back around the same time as Kayla Itzine's, Cassie Ho starving themselves behind the scenes to make it look like their diet was just working. Well, Stephanie Buttermore, turns out she's admitting that she was starving herself, but not before she switched up her channel and started doing binge videos, where she was trying to eat as much as she could. Now it seems that she was binging like that because she was starving beforehand. That's what happens. This is, the small lesson here is ban these kind of YouTube channels from your life. The big lesson here is don't starve yourself. You're just going to snap and relapse. Now she has disorders with food and her emotions. And she'll probably be struggling with this her whole life because she's not going to get it right. And she's messed up her metabolism.
And I think I was subconsciously restricting and blaming it on my lack of appetite. Of course, I wasn't lying about that. I genuinely never really felt that hungry, but I could have made more of an effort to just eat more and prevent that unnecessary weight loss.
While making this video and editing it up, I have noticed something weird that never happened before. I'm noticing that Stephanie Buttermore even talks and sounds like Cassie Ho. The way they deliver their words. Listen to this.
I didn't want to tell you for a really long time. I didn't want to admit.
But for a few months last year, it ended up becoming a bigger issue than I was comfortable sharing.
If you are serious about getting fit and being healthy for life, you can't go on a diet.
One of the reasons we know that she calorie restricts, besides the obvious, is that she eats a semi-paleo diet, which is very high in fat, and she has a fear of carbs. When you eat that way, you have to calorie restrict, or you're going to be even fatter than she is. So, history is repeating itself, and even the diet gurus on YouTube are repeating themselves. They all seem so similar, and they're going to all end the same way. You can take a completely different approach. It's one that's hardly being taught. It's like it's being repressed, so this doesn't go mainstream. Like I said before, it's weird that almost every diet teacher warns you that you should limit fruit, when in fact, that food group is the biggest key to maintaining permanent weight loss. What I've been teaching for 7 years on YouTube, permanent weight loss, sustainable. And there seems to be like just one sure way of doing that. Besides being just lucky with genetics, there's one way you can make it happen, and that's by eating the way your body was intended. Human beings are primates. Primates eat a fruit-based diet. The body expects that. And when you don't eat like that, and as you can see, most of the world doesn't eat like that, they're going to struggle with food, emotions, and their weight. The body is in turmoil. Fruits and vegetables have more nutrients than most food, and they have the nutrients we need and they don't have the stuff we don't need a lot of. It's complete opposite from the way the Western world eats. Now, I don't recommend people go full fruitarian, and you don't need to do that. That's where my particular diet comes in. I didn't invent this diet to sell it on YouTube. It's simply the way I've been eating for the last 27 years, and it's been shown to work. It stood the test of time. You're eating more naturally, but you got the flexibility to eat some of the foods you're used to. You don't have to just rely on fruit being in season. Eating this way, you have to count calories to make sure you're getting enough, not to ensure you're not going over. As long as you're getting like 2,000 calories or over, you don't have to worry. Your weight will stay the same because the body stores fat when it thinks it needs to. It will not need to do this when you're eating this abundant, healthy way. You can eat everything you want. You just focus on the best foods, and you can have whatever balance you want. You can go as far as you want, wherever you're comfortable with. I call it the carbohydrate diet, and here you can see my video all about it.